All right. So we're back after, 1 week. You had to take a week off. I got a little sick, caught the flu, but you know what? We back at it again. I'm good to go. So what time is it, Lionel? What show are we about to drop on the people today?
Y'all know what this is. This is the best wrestling podcast on the planet. Welcome to this week's episode of Off the Top Rope.
Oh yeah.
If you don't know what Off the Top Rope is, it is a podcast where we talk about AEW and New Japan weekly. We do talk about all of the shows as they are airing, except for New Japan. We're going to get there. We do have to talk about New Beginning at some point. We will. We got time.
Yeah.
We are very unashamed about the fact that we are AEW fans and that we are wrestling fans in general. You will not get any weird takes from us, like ring sizes being too small or trying to negate a very good show anywhere. We are wrestling fans first and foremost. So
Yep.
if you like that, make sure that you follow us on Blue Sky. If you go to at TAGPW podcast, and if you go to at Proffiticus and at Shikoku Samurai, they're going to be on the screen. Follow us. Give us a follow. You can be able to see all of our content on there. Profits on the TAGPW Blue Sky all the time. We do our takes on all of our things all the time. Make sure you follow all of our channels and just, make sure you can get those. Also, if you can't watch us on YouTube, make sure that you go on Podbean and Spotify. That is where you can get this week's episode and every week of Off the Top Rope. So you can listen to it when you're, when you're on your way to go see your mom. I don't know. Just make sure you download the podcast, listen to us on Podbean and Spotify. Profit, tell us about the YouTube.
All right, guys. You know what I'm gonna call you. My YouTube warriors. Thanks for dropping by the channel. But so if you're on YouTube, we would very much appreciate it if you tap that like button. It for sure helps us out. Also, comment, subscribe, hit that bell button so you can get all of our content whenever it drops. And yeah, let's get to the show.
We gotta talk about these weirdos on social media right now, Profit.
Yeah, let's get to it, man.
We have to. So for those who don't know, AEW has been on a hot streak for the last couple weeks. We like Prof said, we missed last week's episode. Thugs take break too. All right, just we're back now. Don't even worry about it. Those two shows were fantastic, right? We talked about it. There were a lot of tweets and a lot of people on Blue Sky talking about, people are gonna have to try to fake Outrage and figure out something to hate on AEW about, right? So we fast forward. We're gonna talk about everything. We're just gonna hit everything.
Yep.
Like 4 or 5 different things were happening about the show at once. Before the show I'm talking about is Grand Slam Australia. The first one was people didn't know that if this was going to be a pay-per-view or like just a show and things like that. Despite the fact of Grand Slam always being a TV show.
Yes.
Like it's always been that. Like, yeah, everyone's talked a little bit. It's like, oh, are they going to make this pay-per-view? Are they not? Are they not? We can all assume that once they said Grand Slam, it wasn't going to be pay-per-view. It's just going to be a regular episode of Collision, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that got moved. People got upset that it got pushed back because of the NBA All-Star game, All-Star Saturday, which they said that for like weeks when they were leading up to the show. That it was going to be on after All-Star Saturday. Like, it's on TNT. TNT hosts the All-Star game. I don't know what you want them to do. You want them to try to not do that? The NBA is the biggest thing that people watch on TNT. That's not going to happen. Yeah. Sorry. Like, you guys are just being weird about that. After the fact, we had a great show that we'll be breaking down in a few minutes. And all that anyone is talking about is the size of the ring. The size of the ring. I look. I'm not gonna hold you. I didn't even think about it when I watched the show, and I watched it twice because I had to get my notes right. I didn't even think about the size of the ring, and then all I saw on Blue Sky was a bunch of people freaking out. Like someone said, "Oh, this was a really good show," but the ring size threw me off. 7.5. I was like, "What are you talking about?" And there was someone else who was like, "Oh, I give the show a 6 because AEW has gone so high and they've done so well that I can't give it anything higher." Like, you guys are insane right now. They're being weirdos, Proffitt.
Man, okay. So on that issue, one QT Marshall came alive. Actually, it was like, you guys are idiots. Like, there's only 3. So, despite the fact that they don't say that same shit about TNA, TNA uses the same size ring. It's 18-inch. Was it 18-inch ring or something like that?
Yeah, 18 by 18.
18 by 18 ring. TNA uses that. That's the size of their ring. There's only 3 companies that use the 20 by 20 ring. WWE, AEW when it's in America, New Japan. Those are the only companies that do it. Any other wrestling company uses 18 by 18. And this is also like, education for people that just flat out don't fucking know, right? Anything that's not like these big major promotions and shit, even sometimes even a major promotion, because pretty sure WCW was also 18 by 18. ECW was 18 by 18. Actually, I can guarantee ECW was, because Ring of Honor, which they run every week, is also the 18 by 18 ring, which was also, they made it a point in Ring of Honor to do almost everything the same as ECW. So it's just fake outrage for no reason. And there was another thing that I saw besides the ring thing.
Ooh, I want to hear this.
I saw some people that were literally like, "Oh man, this was a great show, but I need to know what happens after, because, it'll be for nothing if, they didn't build off of this show." It's like, why are you moving the goalpost?
What?
This was a great show. They've had great shows for the past like 3-4 weeks, man. Why is this weird goalpost moving thing happening? It's just so stupid and weird.
That might be weirder than the ring thing. People are like, "Oh, I just want to see what happens next." So they're judging what's happening now by what they don't know is going to happen in the future?
Correct.
Oh my god. This is
so if all of a sudden they like the John Moxley and the Death Rider story gets to Adam Copeland and him at Revolution, and it's basically, it doesn't go the way they want it to, then it's all Grand Slam and everything was a failure. That's their mindset.
I don't understand what is so appealing about doing what you can to tear down a company. I didn't get it before. I really don't get it now. Like, I'm not even saying that this is like other wrestling company fans. It most likely is, right? I am specifically just saying that people on the internet are being really weird right now. Like, we had to sit through AEW in 2023, which was not a great place. Like, there were great things that were happening. AEW 2023 was not cooking.
No.
Right? We get to 2024. Once Swerve takes over the franchise, we really start beefing things up, along with the Continental Classic that was happening late in 2023. Right? Mm-hmm. Why is it that when the company AEW is doing good, people have to go actively out of their way and try to discredit the company? Like, y'all wanted them to be in like arenas and stuff like that, right? Y'all got upset. They were in a damn near sold out arena, if not actually sold out. Like, it looked packed in there.
Yeah.
Y'all got upset about that. Y'all got upset that this wasn't a pay-per-view, despite the fact that they never said this was a pay-per-view. Like, y'all got upset about a ring size. Y'all are getting upset about not knowing what's gonna happen in the future. Like, you're not a psychic. You can't read the future. You can't read like, oh, for whatever reason. Other than us, we can for whatever reason. But you can't go like, oh, in 2 weeks the Death Rider story is gonna be really bad, or the after Omega challenges Takeshita, which we'll talk about a little bit later, people are like, oh, but why do you have to go through a gauntlet? We know Takeshita's gonna be there, bro. Just enjoy the matches. Like, what is it really that big of a deal?
Yeah, you're gonna get Kenny Omega versus Takeshita. You're gonna get what is it? The new title? What was it called? It was the international title. God damn it! Where they're going through like all the matches to see who the next contender for the international title is.
Yeah, we're gonna get Roger Strong versus Orange Cassidy.
Yeah,
and then one of them's gonna wrestle Takeshita.
Yes, like I don't see anything wrong with this. And it's so weird, and I know what it is, right? Before, like, so 2023, 2024, right? They were under the assumption AEW was going to crash and burn. WWE got they assumed. All right, for the WWE fans out there listening to this, you're gonna hate what I gotta say. So they, Triple H took over, and everybody's like, "Yay, WWE is a little bit better now. AEW served its purpose. It can go away." That's what these people want, and it's stupid. It's some stupid shit.
I don't get it.
And they keep wanting it to go away because their company is now, I'm not going to say great. It's about as average as you can be.
WWE fans enjoy it. That's whatever.
For 4 matches on a show, but AEW got that deal, the TV rights deal, and it's so weird because all they're focused on now is just, oh, well, how many people watch the show live and stuff like that. It doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter now. It's on a digital platform, so it goes to moot. It doesn't matter. It's just how many people press the button to hit play to watch the show. Sure, you get the people that were watching it before are still watching it on whatever thing they were watching it on. But now there's like, more than double the amount of people, and is driving people there. So it's so weird, man. It's so stupid. It's a lot of fake outrage out there.
It really just doesn't make sense. Like, Proffitt, you and I, like, we don't watch WWE, right? It's not for us, right?
No.
We might sling some things every once in a while because it's funny to do, but realistically, we're not trying to watch the show, right? If people want to watch that, they can watch that. That's fine. They can do what they want. It's not that big of a deal, right?
Right.
I don't get why people. I'm gonna say people, despite the fact of what the record shows and what things are. I'm just gonna say people. I don't understand why people go out of their way to do everything they can to just shit on AEW. You explained it already. It still doesn't make sense. Like, just if you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to. Enjoy what you enjoy. Like, that's not a big deal. But people feel like it's a necessity to go out of their way to try to ruin anything that AEW does. And it doesn't make sense. No other company has to do this. No other company goes through this. And I don't know. It's dumb.
Not even back when, not even TNA back in the day went through this, but they also sucked. So,
bro, well, TNT had, or not TNT, Jesus Christ, TNA had Kurt Angle, Christian Cage. Yes. I'm gonna put Tomko in there too because I like Tomko. I don't care if he's not a big name. I don't care. Tomko.
Who hates Tomko?
Samoa Joe, AJ Styles,
EY.
They had so many people going there. People from WWE left WWE to go to TNA.
Yeah, like Booker T, you had Scott Steiner, you had they made the main event Mafia, right?
Yeah, for better or worse, people like Ric Flair and Hulk Hogan were there too. For better or worse, Eric Bischoff, for better or worse, decided to go. Worse for sure, because we know what happened.
Him and Hogan damn near killed the company. So yeah, worse.
God, they went to TNA, right? Yeah. This never happened. Like, they had nothing. This is why y'all need to just listen to our podcast. And don't listen to, like, these grifters. Don't listen to Busted Open Radio. Don't listen to people doing all this shit. Because AEW hate gets clicks. You don't need to do that. If you enjoy your show, enjoy your show. Do not worry about what other people are doing, because it does not matter to you. That's it.
Yeah, like, and especially, here's the silly thing. Like, one of those, glad you mentioned Busted Open Radio.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know if you've seen that clip or whatever of Dave LaGreca going crazy.
Oh, I saw it with Ziggler. Or
Ziggler
with Nemeth.
Nemeth, like, when he started doing the other shit, Nemeth was like, ooh, nope, this ain't it. But he was talking all this shit. He was like, well, why wouldn't you put Kyle Fletcher? Kyle Fletcher's literally in the fucking ring right now. Kyle Fletcher's in the ring. Every Australian that's in the company literally wrestled that night. And he's sitting there, like, talking like AEW didn't book, like, all the hometown guys for the show.
And then like he went out of the way saying, like, oh, but you're gonna put them in front of people who are gonna cheer them. You put them in front of the whole, they're gonna cheer them. It's like, no, bro, that's not how this works. Like, they might get like a little pop right away, right? Whatever, you know. Oh, you're home, welcome home. But then they're gonna go right back to Karen and then booing them. And let me tell you, we're gonna talk about it when we get to the show. They booed the shit out of Kyle Fletcher, as they should, because he's a heel.
He's a heel. I guess he forgot about that part. He forgot Kyle Fletcher was a fucking heel, right? They cheered the fuck out of Harley Cameron. They cheered the hell out of Toni Storm. They cheered the hell out of Buddy Matthews. Guess what? They're all faces.
Yeah.
They booed the shit out of Kyle Fletcher because, well, you're not going to boo Ospreay and Kenny Omega.
No.
Not, right?
No, like, you're not going to.
So, that stupid shit right there. And then, you know what? I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna just talk shit about them. You got 3 guys on your panel. Well, actually 2. You got 2 WWE Hall of Famers that have their interest in WWE, of course, because, hey, they got that Legends deal. They're getting paid by WWE, and their kids are getting sent on a full fucking ride, courtesy of WWE, as long as they work for them, right?
Yeah.
So, how can I take any of your so-called constructive criticism, which is only breaking down, right? How can I take any of that with a grain of salt when you have invested interest in the company, in the other company, one, and it's not in your best interest to prop up the other company, even though they're doing fantastic stuff. The only thing you can do is break them down, because it's the typical WWE thing that's going on right now too. So you also have, Dave LaGreca, who is also is doing panels and shit for NXT and stuff like that. How can I take what you guys say seriously? You're just WWE fucking grifters, and you have this, big WWE audience. Why even talk about AEW on your show? You even to say most of the time that you don't care for AEW, you watch it every now and then just so you can talk about it. That's about it. Why even watch it? You're not passionate about it. You don't care. You say you love wrestling, but you're full of shit. You just love WWE.
I can tell you why they do it.
So they can get clicks. So they can get more views. That's the same reason Bischoff still talks about AEW every week, even though every place, everything he's touched has turned to shit.
Mm-hmm.
So even MLW, he touched MLW and it was the lowest ratings it's ever had. So, just the point being is, for AEW fans out there, if you want a show that's not paid by any other wrestling company to give their opinion and bring the other company down, holla at us. Get at us.
This is the one. This is the one.
This is the show.
We talk about our opinions. We don't do that grift bullshit. Like, that's not, we are very happily AEW fans. We've both been AEW fans literally since day one.
Yeah.
So, like, if you need a podcast that you want to hear AEW talk about, like, the good, bad, the ugly, everything, where we're not gonna grift, we're gonna give our constructive feedback in our criticisms, because our criticisms, that's how this works. This is your show.
Yep. And it's hard to find a home in places like Busted Open, because all they do is just crap on the company, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's criticism, and then there's purposely trying to bring the company down. So with that, I say, come on over to us. We got you.
Yep. That's it. Like, we just have to get that off our chest. Just main story. If you're skipping past that part, because I know how annoyed people are talking about that. If just remember, we got you. We're here. We talk about AEW. We talk about New Japan. We have our opinions, good, bad, the other, and they are always going to be constructive because we enjoy and we love AEW.
Yeah. And I might take I'll take a jab at WWE every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
But I am going to say this. It's not like I do not like the wrestle. There's not like WWE does not have wrestlers I like. They have a lot of wrestlers I like. They're hardly ever showcased. Ever. Because there's hardly any wrestling on WWE. That's all I can say. Right? Like, yeah. That's all. That's as far as I'm going to put it.
Mm-hmm. But I think that's it. Like, just, we have to get that out there because it's been insane this week. Like, we normally don't talk about it. We do our best. We'll touch on it here and there when we're doing our reviews. But we had to say something because people are going batshit insane right now.
Yeah, for no reason.
For no reason. But we can now get over that. We're gonna get back to our regularly scheduled program, and we're gonna talk about AEW. We didn't get to talk about what happened last week. So really quick, Proffitt, do you have a favorite moment from the last Dynamite and the last Collision that we didn't get to talk about?
Okay, so last Dynamite, my favorite moment was when Max Caster interrupted Hangman. And Hangman got pissed off and was like, hey, how about I fight you? How about I fight you? And started following him around everywhere.
Oh, he followed him for like an hour.
Yeah, like that. It was pretty much like, oh man, Caster, you messed up, dude. And then he got in the ring, and it also is leading to another feud we're going to talk about in this podcast. But it's cool how it led up. But he got in the ring at MJF. He's like, yo, get the hell out of here. Hangman's coming. And MJF was like, what? Being MJF, he didn't give a shit. And Caster's like, okay, I'm out. He's like, Hangman's here. And there comes Hangman. Now, I think that was like one of my favorite moments on Dynamite last week. Collision? I can't remember offhand my favorite moment in Collision.
I got one for you for Collision that I really enjoyed.
Which one?
We had a really good 3-way trios match between Undisputed Kingdom, Garcia, Matt Menard, and Angelo Parker, and Shane Taylor Promotions.
Oh yeah, hell yeah. That was it. That was it.
It was so good. That entire collision was just top to almost bottom, fantastic. And then we had that main event with Mark Briscoe and Fletcher.
Yep.
Bro, it was so good.
Oh, it was damn good. Damn good. Like, Collision that week was work.
It was ridiculous. But it came off the top of like a really good Dynamite too. It just worked.
Yeah. It was just everybody was working at a high level. It was like, okay, I feel it too. Damn.
It was so hype. But now that we got those out of the way, we did a little bit of talk about last week's Proffitt. Let me know what happened on this week's episode of AEW Dynamite.
All right, man. Let's get to AEW Dynamite, man. So we start with Max Caster. He's in the ring already. You know how I just said about my favorite moment of last week? Well, it continues into this week. So Max Caster is just like, he's talking about, the best wrestler alive, open challenge. Who can stand toe to toe with the best wrestler alive? Spoilers, I can. But, he puts down the mic and, the music comes on and it's Hangman Adam Page. I was like, Max, did you think he just forgot? Hangman holds grudges for years, okay? Mm-hmm. He didn't just forget about you. So the second he can get his hands on you legally, he will. Or illegally. It doesn't matter. He's going to beat your ass. So as soon as that happened, Max Caster immediately jumped out of the ring and hit in the crowd. And so Hangman, he got in the ring, he got ready. He was like, where the hell is he? And all the fans were pointing to where he was at. So Hangman's like, fuck it, I'm going out to the crowd then. Hangman jumps out of the ring, goes into the crowd, and there's this dumbass lady that wouldn't get out of the way. He's like, hey, I gotta get over there. And then she telling Hangman to go around. I'm like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, I keep going. I'm not gonna say anything. I was about to be real disrespectful.
Yeah. So eventually Hangman gets to Max Caster, and he gets to Max Caster. Max Caster runs into the ring. Hangman chases after him, and when Hangman slides in the ring, Max Caster does an elbow drop, starts doing some stomps, takes his shirt off, and he starts going, yeah, I'm the best wrestler alive, chanting to the crowd and stuff, and Hangman got up. And then Hangman just destroyed him. He beat the living shit out of Max Caster and then hit the buckshot lariat for the 1, 2, 3. It was like a quick 5-minute squash match. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so after that, as fast as Hangman was there, he was gone. And right after that, we had a cool promo package for the continuing saga of Ricochet and Swerve, their feud. And there's one point in there where it was like Ricochet was, well, not Ricochet, when Swerve was talking, and Nano was like, hey, stop all the small stuff, man. Get back to what we were focused on, and that's getting that world title and getting you back to where you need to be. And Swerve is like, nah, man, I can't do that. You saw what happened when I let Hangman go. He burnt one of my houses down. So he's like, I can't let Ricochet go. I can't let it go. I got to end it. So yeah, that was awesome promo package from AEW.
It was so good. And you like you said, it's going to continue.
Yeah.
Give me the match at Revolution. Like, just run it back. Go ahead, just do it.
Yeah. It was it's so damn good, man. So right after that, we get the second match in the night, which is the trios title match. The Undisputed Kingdom versus the Death Riders. And man, Undisputed Kingdom gets out there, does their thing. Death Riders come out and they're standing outside the ring for an extended amount of time. And you know what that means. Undisputed Kingdom's charging.
Mm-hmm.
Second it happened, Undisputed Kingdom charged outside the ring, and that's when the match started. Like they were attacking the Death Riders head on. Um and the Undisputed Kingdom came out on top. It wasn't in that exchange. So, then it slowed down. After the commercial break, the Death Riders took control and they had Kyle O'Reilly in the ring. So they were taking their turns, like beating up and wearing down Kyle O'Reilly. Eventually, Kyle O'Reilly gets back to Roddy Strong. And when Roddy Strong got that hot tag, everybody's back was getting broken. He was doing backbreakers, gourd busters, whatever. He was breaking everybody. He didn't care. The ref was lucky he didn't get a backbreaker put on him. That's how fucking Roddy Strong was. Everybody was getting it. So as the chaos kept going down, the match, the funny thing is it went to commercial again, came back, and the match slowed down again. And now the Death Riders were beating up Roddy Strong. So finally Roddy Strong gets a hot tag to Adam Cole. Undisputed Kingdom take control for a little bit, and they start doing it's like everybody had their tag specials ready. They did it all to Wheeler Yuta, and it was a certain point where Claudio jumped in the ring, and there was a few things that happened that knocked the rest of that distracted everybody, knocked the rest of the Undisputed Kingdom outside the ring. Wheeler Yuta gets the low blow, rolls up Kyle O'Reilly in the pin, and the Death Riders barely take the match. This is another one of those. This ain't over. So at the end of the match, the Death Riders jump the Undisputed Kingdom, and as they're beating them up in the ring, Daniel Garcia, Daddy Magic, and Pullman Ainge run in and run them off. But yeah, it was a really fun match. What did you think about the match, man?
I actually really liked it. Like, we saw last week that the Death Riders were like they were getting at the Trios division, right? Because the Trios division was heating up. We saw them with the titles for the first time in like 3 months, which is also nice. I did, for whatever reason, I did kind of expect Undisputed Kingdom to win, which didn't really make sense. Now I'm thinking about it, because they're not losing those titles right away, right? It's not happening for a little bit. But it's nice to see. It's just nice to see the titles again. It's nice to see them defend, because when they defend, they're a great trio. That's why everyone was so excited about them winning the trio championships to begin with.
Yeah,
it's just that this story with the Death Riders, just they had to hide the titles for whatever reason. It just wasn't making sense. Now that they have the trios division rebuilt up, they have at least like 4 of the trios they can go through right now, and we can make this a thing, right? So this is. I think we're gonna get some good stuff with the trios division finally again.
And man, when we get to it, we got a new trio that just popped up. Speak of the devil,
man.
Right? So we're gonna get to it. So like right after that, we had Marina Shafir and Jon Moxley. They were, they were doing their thing, walking in the back, and then we see Cope and Jay White pop up. I think it was like Jay White that hit Moxley and threw him in a different room, and then they tossed Marina Shafir but held the briefcase because she was trying to hit one of them with it. And they held the briefcase, closed the door, and then broke the chain to the briefcase and ran off with it. This set Jon Moxley off, all the way off. because he gets Marina out of the room, and then they're storming off, and Moxley's now on a warpath. He's going everywhere. He's looking for that title, as as things go on in the back. So Renee, right after that, we get Renee Young with MJF. And it starts with MJF talking about, his match with Dustin Rhodes. And, MJF is just being MJF. He's like, yo, I'm gonna beat his ass, and then I'm going to get my damn title back. He is very clear about his goal about getting his title. But as I've said before, he keeps running into the Hangman.
Mm-hmm.
Hangman pops up and is like, out. He told him to get out. He did not give a fuck what MJF had to say. He was like, out. And then MJF was like, he tried to talk trash about his, old gimmick of, him drinking alcohol all the time. He's like, oh, I didn't know your cologne smelled like Jack Daniels, And Hangman just literally looked at him and was like, yo, it's been 5 years and that's the best you've got. So MJF was like, okay. And he actually proceeded to cut a decent short promo on Hangman. And it led to him saying, I'm going to get my world title. Hangman was obviously pissed off after MJF left. But when Renee was going to go in to get a comment, Hangman was like, no, not right now. No. So, what did you think about that segment, man?
Can we talk about how MJF was spitting facts for a second really quick, too? When he dropped the bullshit, he was talking.
Like, that's the best. Like I said, that's the best short promo I've heard from MJF. When he cuts all the actual bullshit out, and he's like, MJ, just, I don't know, being this character, whatever character that was that came out, that's it.
Yeah, this is the MJF I want to see. Like, if you've been listening to podcasts, you know that I go back and forth with MJF all the time. Probably you have to hear about it every week at this point. This is the MJF I want to see. Be scathing. You don't have to spend 20 minutes doing that. It was a 90-second read, and it was perfect because it was the truth. Everything that he said about Hangman was the truth.
Yeah. No, he spit facts, and it was just that one promo. I'm just gonna say from MJF, not like this 30-minute long promo. That one promo hit harder than most of his 20-30 minute in the ring promos.
Yes.
Right. It had more weight in everything than in most of those promos. So yeah, like, this is what I want to see.
Agreed.
Right after this, we had Joe, Shibata, and Hook. And at first I called these guys local talent, and I saw Aaron Solo there. I was like, oh shit. It's Grillo, Solo, and Cruz.
Yeah, not local talent.
Well, they got treated like local talent because they got killed.
Oh, yeah, they did. Yeah, they did.
They got murdered. After that, Joe gets on the mic. We don't even have to go through the match. The match was all but like 2 minutes. It was Joe, Shibata, and Hook in the ring, throws them out of the ring. Hook beat the crap out of Aaron Solo, suplexed him outside the ring. Joe got in the ring, killed Cruz. Cruz didn't have a chance, man. He tried. Boy tried. But it was an angry ass Samoa Joe. You ain't gonna do shit, bro. So, after that, Joe gets on the mic and introduces them as the Ops. And as the Ops' first task, they want to take out the patriarchy. And he's like, hey, next week on Dynamite, we want to go against the patriarchy. And he's like, if we don't get you there, we're going to catch you lacking. So, yeah, man.
The Ops, huh?
The Ops.
The Ops. So when I heard the promo, I thought he was joking. I thought he was just calling themselves the Ops. Like, you know, he's the ops of the patriarchy. That's what I thought. It's like, okay. And then when we see the graphic later, they're literally called the Ops. It's like, oh shit, okay. All right.
It's like, all right. Samoa just said they're the Ops. They're the Ops. All right.
Yeah, that's it. And if y'all don't get what that means, sorry, we're not gonna explain it. Sorry.
No. You gonna have to look that shit up.
Yeah, find out yourself. They're going for their opportunity against the patriarchy. That's why they call themselves the Ops, right? Sorry. I'm never gonna do that again. I don't know where that came from.
Now, the Hangman for a second out.
Yeah,
out.
My bad. Podcast's over. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. It was just there. It was at the front of my brain. I couldn't help it.
Oh man. So right after this, we have Renee with Chris Jericho and Brian Keith. So Jericho is calling out. He basically calls out Bandito to the ring for a showdown, and talks about Brian. Renee mentions how Brian Keith didn't collect on the bounty, and he's like, we don't yell at the learning tree, we learn." And at the end of it, you know, Jericho walks out first, and then Brian Keith turns to Renee and is like, "Don't you ever embarrass me in front of Chris Jericho like that again." Dude, the hilarious thing is that whole segment, Renee was having a hard time keeping in character because she was laughing the whole time.
Brian Keith is hilarious, bro. Like, and look, we talk shit about Jericho too, but delusional Jericho, I hate that I'm about to say what I'm about to say. I hate it. It's this version of the learning tree right now is finally growing on me. It's happening.
It's happening. It's about time.
It took like 8 months, but it's happening.
He got you.
He got me.
I think it's because. Now I have a theory here. Okay. I think it's because Brian Keith is doing more. He's starting to set himself up, you know, as bigger, right?
Yeah.
Big Bill also, same thing. He's being his own character. He's setting himself up to be bigger. They're all kind of meshing now, where it's not like Jericho is just taking the forefront and taking it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like they're all their own characters and they're all starting to get their shine now.
You know that's true. I didn't even think about that, but I think you're right. I think that's what it is. Because even before when Keith was doing like his little quips, right? Like he would just say one line, and he wouldn't really do anything else.
Right.
Now he's wrestling. He had that really good match against Bandito on that last episode of Collision. It's just it's works right now. I'm not gonna say it works. I'm not gonna say that. I don't think I'm gonna go that far. But right now, the learning tree is in a better place. But it feels like they're about to blow up, which I think will be great.
I still need that bounty hunter team, but you know,
we're getting close. Look, we saw Bandito, and when Bounty Hunter came out, he came out in his Bounty Hunter gear. He wasn't in that yellow bullshit that he was in before. He had his Bounty Hunter gear on.
Yep.
We're close.
Yeah, we're close. Yeah, he had his Bounty Hunter stuff on. And I'm going to say, that match was so damn good. Even like last week, Brian Keith and Bandito was excellent.
That was actually my match of the night for Collision. That spot where they both hit up the back, they turned and they did this old Westerns shoot off by taking the 10 paces. Fantastic.
It was excellent. I enjoyed that, man. That was so good. I need more of those characters.
Mm-hmm.
The hilarious thing is, anytime Bandito gets called out for a showdown, now it happens.
It didn't even bother me because you're gonna get to it pretty soon. It didn't even bother me when Jericho did it. Like it worked. It just works.
It works. Okay, so after this segment, Renee was with Willow. And, you know, just as Willow started talking about, you know, going to Japan, doing another Japan tour, by the way, Marina Shafir attacks Willow. And then Moxley gets on the mic and says, you know, Cope is a dead man. Is a dead man walking. He is, pretty much Moxley is pissed that Cope has the briefcase now. But I hope something happens later on where Willow pays it back. Ain't no way she's gonna get just taken out by Marina Shafir.
God, I hope not. they have to. Marina hasn't actually been in a match since being a Death Rider, so it would be cool if that was the first one.
Yeah, but I feel like Marina's about to get beat up by Beth Phoenix.
Oh, at Revolution?
Yeah. I think that's what's gonna happen.
More than likely, right?
I just have a feeling because, yeah, I just have a feeling it's like there's an equalizer there.
Mm-hmm.
Who other than the giant Glamazon?
I wonder what her name's gonna be. Like. I don't know what her real name actually is. I don't know what name she would come out to because it wouldn't be Beth Phoenix.
Right. Maybe not the Phoenix part.
Like we may or may not find out it because if it's gonna happen at Revolution for sure.
Yeah, for sure. So like right after this, Jericho and Bandito are in the ring. They got the showdown. They do a stare down, and they're staring down. The lights go out, and there's a spotlight in the middle of the ring for both of them. We had that mood lighting, guys. They both turn around and take their 10 paces and get to the turnbuckle, and the crowd is counting. Actually, that's another thing I need to say. The crowd was hot this whole night.
Yeah, fantastic crowd.
So, shouts to the crowd, man, because they were on fire, man. Those Texas, usually the Texas crowds are just nuts.
That's why I'm so excited for All in Texas, bro. Like All in Texas is about to be amazing in there.
Yeah. So they both get to their corners, and right before they start, Brian Keith comes out and snatches Bandito's leg. And then him and Jericho start jumping Bandito. So, as they're jumping Bandito, the Outrunners come out. For some reason, I called them I put the Outriders, and I was like, why did I put the Outriders?
Bro, you're typing fast. You're trying to get the notes ready.
I was thinking of the game Outriders. That's why.
Oh.
I was like, what the hell? Yeah, but it was the Outrunners. They came out and they started fighting Jericho and Brian Keith. They had them outside the ring. And then Big Bill showed up. And he had the wanted poster in his hand. Big Bill was trying to cash in. He was going to take Bandito out. Big Bill forgot Will Hobbs was in the arena looking for him. So as right before Big Bill was about to choke slam him, we hear the Powerhouse Hobbs music, and Hobbs came out, got into the ring, hit that spine buster. Beautiful spine buster, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Took out Big Bill. And him and Bandito stood tall and stood strong in the ring. What'd you think about that, man?
I actually, again, I'm going back on what I was saying before. I actually liked what was happening right now. It also feels like everyone in Learning Tree has their own separate story right now. They're all still intertwined, right?
Yep.
But they all have their own thing going on. Like to the point where what I think is this week, right? On Dynamite, we're gonna get Hobbs and Big Bill in a street fight, right? I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. So they all have their own stories going on right now. They're all still intertwined together, but they're all able to have their own moments now, which has been sorely needed with the Learning Tree. So I'm all in. Jericho hasn't really done this since not even Jericho's Appreciation Society, since the Inner Circle. Inner Circle, they were all able to have their own moments. Jericho Appreciation Society didn't. Now finally Learning Tree is. So this is a win for me.
Yep. And they were also it carried over to Ring of Honor. I know that.
Speaking of that too, we have to give a shout out because they're gonna do Global Global Wars, if I can speak, on Monday. So the day that we put this podcast up, they're gonna do a Ring of Honor Global Wars, which looked like it was a great show. It was in front of that like super hot Brisbane crowd too. Apparently, It was still full in there when they all did it. So that show should be amazing.
Yep, and in Athena wrestling in front of a giant crowd. Hell yeah.
Against Alex Windsor too. It's gonna be a fantastic match. Like last week they did the Ring of Honor did their show on the Jericho Cruise, right?
Yep.
Super fun show also. So like even Ring of Honor is kind of getting a little bit hot right now too, which has been really nice to see.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, I they need that TV deal, but I do see that Jericho it's going to be Jericho and Bandito for the title, because Bandito, for people that don't know, Bandito did not just come out of nowhere. He was actually the Ring of Honor champion at one point in time. Mm-hmm. 2-time, actually.
Yep.
2-time ROH champion. So he's got ties to it. So it is very possible that he takes that title from Jericho. So we'll see.
I can see it happening.
Not until after the TV deal, though.
I'll probably maybe the first or second episode, maybe.
Yeah. So right after, we had Cope and Jay White. So they pretty much tell Mox, hey, if they want to see that briefcase back, hey, first meet them. They got to meet him in the ring tonight, because Cope has his demands. He needs that answer. But also, don't worry about it, because if they have to, they'll bring it all the way with them to Australia. So, and also added this little stipulation to it. They're like, hey, if you don't come to the ring, they're going to break that case open. The one thing Jon Moxley don't want.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that was hey, that was a pretty good setup for the end of the night. And right after this, Renee gets is talking to Dustin Rhodes before the match, and one of the main things he said was, "Hey, MJF is about to find out why he's the last of his kind, the last outlaw." So right after that, Dustin is going out like, it's MJF versus Dustin Rhodes. Man, I'm gonna, what? I got a hot take. Right now?
Oh, I'm ready.
You ready? Dustin Rhodes is better. Dustin Rhodes is better than Cody.
Yo, that is a hot take. Oh my god.
He is better in every way.
I'm not gonna lie though. I mean, I don't think you're right now at this very moment. Mm-hmm. I don't think you're wrong.
I'm going career. I'm going to say career-wise.
Career-wise?
Dustin is better than Cody.
I don't know, bro. I really enjoyed Cody's New Japan run. Like, a lot.
It was good. But when you see Dustin Rhodes, every time he comes off as real, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cody, he can't feel real if he needed to, if his life depended on it, right? He feels like the fakest shit. Well, that's not nothing against Cody. It's just how I don't know. It's just how it is. He's mostly entertainment focused. It's weird because like they're both two different sides. Yes, Dusty Rhodes is your dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
They both take two different sides of him, though. Like, the workhorse side is all Dustin. That fucking raw workhorse that's doing 1 hour matches and shit like that and, getting it in. That's all Dustin Rhodes. That's why he was called the Natural.
Yeah.
The showman, that's Cody.
Yeah, that's true. Like, I think if I get with you on this one, I would have to put up, because I couldn't put anything from WWE from Dustin. Like a lot of the Gold Dust stuff was good.
Yeah.
But what he's doing now, like with how raw he is and how emotional he is, especially when doing stuff in Ring of Honor and doing the stuff that he did with MJF just now.
Yeah.
I would have to try to put that up against Cody's New Japan run, because I loved Cody's New Japan run. And I know that's low key that's a little bit of a hot take, a little bit. Because people were always saying that Cody, to your point actually, they were saying Cody's like in-ring wasn't up to snuff for doing what he was doing. Because he was beating like a Juice for the US title. He was in that feud with Kenny and Kota Ibushi, and he was like for sure the worst wrestler out of the three. But to be fair to Cody, you're not gonna be on par with like 2016 Kenny Omega and 2016 Kota Ibushi unless you are a god yourself. So like that's hard to do. I'd have to think about that, bro. I see where you're coming from. I might think about that.
Well, okay. So I'm not going by. So I'm going by the. Yeah, I am going by the complete package.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not necessarily going by in ring work. Yeah, no. Like if we were going by in ring work, Dustin is infinitely better. Like it's not even. To me, it's not close.
Yeah, I can't argue that point. Like that's for sure. I feel like Dustin is better than Cody for sure in ring.
It's not even close. Like Dustin is a far superior wrestler by far in my hot take. Okay, I know some people are gonna take that the wrong way. I don't really care, but Cody, he's got the actually when he finally got it and was able to do it, he's got the showmanship part.
He's definitely like a fitting WWE World Champion. Like he has the look, he has the speaking ability, because Cody can promo his ass off. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's why I'm saying there's that like he's that showman. He's the like you said, the prototypical WWE champion. That's Cody Rhodes right there. Dustin is the guy that's the champion everywhere else.
Yeah, when you put it like that, I kind of have to agree with you, right? Like Cody, like, and these I don't think those are shots at anybody, because I feel like they're both great, right? I don't think we're doing shots at anything like that. But
no, I'm not taking a shot at Cody Rhodes. I like Cody Rhodes. I don't hate him. I don't hate him at all. I'm just saying, I think Dustin is the better of the two.
I see what you're saying though. Not even just in ring, like, I feel like even if you just take this stuff that he did with MJF, like the last 2 weeks alone, like, and again, I'm gonna go AEW to AEW for this one, just for the sake of safety. Cody in AEW never had like a promo moment like that with Dustin, and the only one close was when he was with Dustin.
Yes,
like when he was doing the crying "You're my big brother" thing that they made fun of on BTE. Like that is probably like the pinnacle of like Cody's AEW promo segments. Like he was out there, he was doing his thing, whatever, right? But nothing topped that. For Dustin, it feels like every time he gets the mic, especially lately, he has the passion, he has the fire, he's angry. And also doing like the last of my breed, the final of my kind, that stuff also works for him too, because it does feel like he's like the last of that, like the literal last outlaw. That's what he feels like right now. So you know what, Proffitt, that was a hot take. I think I'm with you though. I think I'm with you.
Yeah. It's, and I feel like, and you talked about the Cody versus Dustin match. That was actually like the Cody versus Dustin. Cody had two of Cody's rawest matches, right, in AEW. We're gonna talk AEW to AEW, right? Was Cody versus Dustin, Cody versus Brody Lee.
That Brody Lee match was so good too.
It was so damn good.
Oh my god!
Right, both like when the first time when Brody Lee got the title and just fucking demolished him. And then, and the stuff and all that stuff, right? Like, there's just, like, those are his rawest matches. And then the other ones are, his ones with Guevara and stuff like that, but they didn't have that grit and that feel of the Brody Lee and the Dustin Rhodes match.
I think we got to remember too, like a lot of stuff that Cody was doing in AEW, like at the time felt disjointed. Like that was a lot of people's main problem with Cody in AEW was that he felt like he was just doing, he was on another show.
Yeah,
like it didn't even feel like WWE stuff. Like it just felt like he was just somewhere else, and not in a good way. That was like the main problem with Cody, right? So even when you get the impassioned promos and he would do that kind of stuff and whatever, it would never hit because a lot of it just didn't make sense. That's why like everyone around it, goddamn, I think I'm getting even more to your point now. Cause like even the people around him were better. Like Arn Anderson was doing his thing. People get mad about Brandy, but Brandy had like what you say? Like this isn't like whatever she said to Jade. I forget the line now.
Mm-hmm.
But Brandy was on another level doing her AEW stuff a little bit, even minusing the Nightmare Collective, whatever that was.
Yeah.
I said Arn Anderson already. Malachi came in and looked fantastic against Cody. I think everyone just looked better around Cody, for better or worse. I don't know. That could have been by design. Now we're 4 years away from that. Now we're a long time away from that. That could have been by design, but yeah, Cody definitely just wasn't fitting. It just didn't work, and I think that also leads to your point.
Mm-hmm.
Because what Dustin's doing, Dustin's just being himself, and this shit is working.
Yeah.
So yeah. I think you're on something with that one. We might have to talk about that a little bit more, but you might be on something there.
Yeah, Dustin is acting like Dustin, right? Like he's if you looked at him in like WCW and all of his old stuff, and then looked at it now, it's just an older version of that guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just an older version of that guy, a little more grizzled, not a lot more grizzled. He's just a veteran. He's just, he's now an outlaw, and it's just a transformation of before. It's the same guy, but actually his in ring is ridiculous right now too.
Oh, I just remembered the line to Jade from Brandy. Like, who said this is open mic night, bitch? Like that line, that shit.
Man, it was yeah. But sorry, I went on the tangent and derailed us for a minute.
No, bro, this is our podcast. We can tangent if we want to.
We will now talk about MJF versus Dustin Rhodes.
Actually, real quick.
Yep.
Y'all hit down in the comments. Let us know what you think. Is Proffitt on base? Do you think that as a overall professional wrestler, y'all think Dustin is better than Cody? You can stack it however you want to stack it. Let us know what you think. I'm curious.
Yeah, I'm curious too.
That's all I got.
All right, okay. So, MJF comes out, does his thing. Huge pop for Dustin Rhodes as he's coming out to the ring, man. Hometown. Yeah. No, I don't think he's from Houston, but doesn't matter. Pretty much, he's a Texas guy. So he got the huge pop. And they're both in the ring. Dustin walks over to MJF and draws the line. And pretty much says, "Hey, cross this line, I'm beating your ass." And MJF, he crosses the line and instantly gets power slammed. So after this, like as they're wrestling, MJF spends most of the match working that arm. There's even one point where he slams Dustin, and Dustin is holding his arm, selling the arm, getting up, and he's still selling the arm. And then MJF is just he did that thing where he was running back and forth on the ropes and hits him with his hip and knocks him down. So there was that. And then later in the match, it heats up, man. Dustin hits the crossroads. He does What is his move called? Okay, so like towards the end, MJF gets a chair. He puts the Dustin's arm in the chair, inside the chair. Then he goes to the middle rope, but Bryce is like, nah, that ain't working, man. Like he takes the chair off of Dustin's arm. Bryce's back is turned. Dustin runs into the rope, and MJF falls down, and now he's exposed. So Dustin, taking the opportunity while Bryce's back is turned, does the Shattered Dreams, which basically he runs and kicks him in the nuts. He did and right after that, Picture MJF does the final reckoning, gets a 2 count. He tries to go for it again, but MJF reverses and does a final reckoning of his own to Dustin. Dustin kicks out, but he immediately locks on Salt of the Earth. And Dustin is trying to get to the rope. And as he's trying to get to the rope, MJF pulls him back to the middle of the ring, takes the Salt of the Earth, transitions into a crossface. Dustin is in the ring, and then he passes out from the pain. And, after that, match is over. MJF is your winner. At the end of the match, though, tells Bryce to get the hell out of the ring. And then he puts Salt of the Earth on, he slaps it on Dustin's arm again. And as he's doing that, a wild Hangman appears. It comes to the ring, man. And, they have a stare down for a minute, and MJF is like, okay. He backs off, and then he runs and, takes Hangman down, and Hangman rolls him over, and then they start fighting. There's security everywhere to try to stop this. MJF is jumping over security. Hangman's jumping over security, and they're fighting each other. And finally, they both get out of the ring, and then they start fighting up, into the stands of the crowd. MJF tries to drop him over the top of like one of the stairs, but the security finally breaks it up. MJF runs, and then they finally separate the two, get them all the way to the back. Well, they take Hangman to the back. MJF runs back into the ring, and is like, "Hey." He pretty much calls out Hangman again and calls him a coward. And Hangman ain't gonna take that line down. So, MJF thinking he called somebody out that wasn't gonna come out. Yeah, well, that was a mistake. Because here comes Hangman again, and there's no security around him. So then he started beating the crap out of MJF again. And security breaks it up again, and MJF gets out and gets away. And so we find out during the break, Hangman was killing all the security. And that's the end of that whole segment between the two.
Whew.
What'd you think, man?
Man, first off, we already talked about him, but shout out to Dustin. Dustin looked great in the match with MJF, right?
Yep.
It just was a great match. It was really good. This is what MJF is also really good at too. Like I talk a lot about MJF. That motherfucker can wrestle. Like whatever. He talk a lot, but he has his shit in ring down pat. For damn sure. Yep. But this leads us to what we've been seeing, like just Hangman and MJF run into each other every episode for like the last month. They finally come to blows.
Mm-hmm.
And oh boy, we get the face to face this week on Dynamite too, between MJF and Hangman.
Yep.
Despite the fact that I know it's going to be like a 20-minute talking segment, which I will warn you all now, when that happens, I will come on here and be a little bit annoyed for sure. I just know that's going to happen. But this just screams Revolution opening match, right? Like outside, like they've been using like Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay to do their opening matches lately on TV, right? But MJF Hangman screams first match on pay-per-view. Get the crowd hyped, get them very excited, have a damn good wrestling match. Make it happen.
Yeah,
That's it.
I agree. They're going to go to war. And it's going to be a fantastic match.
And I just need this to find a way to coincide with Swerve. Because this whole thing started, the first time that they bumped into each other, if people don't remember, Hangman tried to go into Swerve's locker room to find Swerve after what Christopher Daniels said to him about, you win, I can't wrestle anymore, I am retired. The first time that he ran into MJF was him trying to find Swerve and couldn't. So at some point, this is going to swing around to Swerve. And I want to see how that happens.
Man, I can almost see how it happens, though, right? That part, that little thing with... There was a little nugget in the thing earlier. The part where Nana was talking to Swerve and saying, hey, you gotta let it go.
Mm-hmm.
So we can focus on the other things. What does that remind you of? That reminds you of a few weeks ago when Daniels was telling Hangman, yo, you gotta let it go.
Mm-hmm.
Before it gets carried away.
Before the Texas Death Match. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a really cool foreshadowing there, right? Like really cool, like, it's a slight nod. It's really cool to see. So maybe Hangman's the one that stopped Swerve from going overboard. Who knows?
It's just crazy. Like, they are on their separate paths right now, right? At some point, Swerve and Hangman are going to come back together. We don't know how it's going to happen. We don't know what's going to happen. But this is going to sound crazy, but MJF and Ricochet are very great distractions to get away from those two. Because, like you said, they've both been talking about each other. It's going to happen. Yeah. It's just a matter of when, not if.
Yep. Yeah, man. The underlying storylines coming out, fantastic.
They got a few of those going on right now. We'll talk about more of them as we go, but they got a few of these just bubbling.
Yep. Okay. Oh, we're about to talk about another one right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, next match is Megan Bayne versus... I couldn't get her last name, so if the person that's happened to be listening, don't get mad at me, please. Her name was Maya, and I don't know what her last name was.
Maya World, I think, right?
I
got you. I'll let you know in a second.
Yeah, like... So, man, Megan Bayne was looking like Bane. You don't know what I'm talking about. Bane from fucking, from DC Comics, man, because she was tossing Maya around, man, like she was nothing. Like it was a sight to see, and Maya is not a small person. This match ended pretty quick. Megan Bayne was doing the suplexes. She did that awesome running clothesline thing that she always does, the charging one. And then after that, she picked her up and did that F5. And quick 3 count right there. Megan Bayne wins. So as Megan Bayne was walking to the back, Chris Statlander's theme music started playing. And Chris Statlander will start walking to the ring, and her and Megan Bayne had a stare off for a second. I was like, ooh. Inject that feud into my veins because I need it.
It is Maya World too. That's her name, Maya World.
Maya World. Okay. So shouts to Maya World. during that match. But But yeah, so Chris Statlander was coming to the ring. Her and Megan Bayne had a stare down, and Chris Statlander continued walking to the ring. And now this sets up for Chris Statlander versus Penelope Ford, which was also that was a fun. It was a fun 8-minute match, 8 to 10-minute match.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Penelope Ford had no chance. Whatever she did, Chris Statlander countered with a power move, and then started putting the beat down on her. No matter what. There was that one cool spot where Statlander tried to do a clothesline, and then she did that thing with her back where she arches her back and it went, over her head. And then she did that, pop-up stunner. But she tried to do another springboard, and Chris Statlander caught her and suplexed her. And yeah, that was the story of the match. Penelope Ford would try to get some offense. Statlander would hit a big move and another big move. And it would just, there was a certain point where, Stat was like, all right, that's it. She went for Wednesday Night Fever, got the 3 count. And afterwards, man, she's, going out of the ring, and then Megan Bayne appears, and she, Chris Statlander's distracted for a second. Penelope Ford runs up and knocks Chris Statlander out of the ring. And then Megan Bayne picks up Chris Statlander and does the F5 on the outside. Holy shit. It did it with ease. There was no effort there, dude.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's our next big feud. Statlander versus the Joey Janela girlfriends.
Oh, Stat.
It should be good though. Should be good.
It's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah. So after this, we got a music video with Harley Cameron. She did the music video that's basically leading up to Grand Slam, about her match, and she did pretty much did the CEO thing with Puppet Monet, and yeah, it was she went through, and then like halfway through the music video, she stopped it, and then cut a promo about, she was like, hey, we all got to start somewhere, and thanks for making the women's division better, because it made me better, so I'm gonna continue to get better, and one of the things I'm gonna do is take that belt at Grand Slam. Didn't happen, but take that belt at Grand Slam. But yeah, it was a good fiery babyface promo in the middle of the thing. It was. What did you think about it, man?
I have come on this podcast. Thankfully, I've not been under fire for it yet. Harley Cameron can't sing. She can't rap. None of that. Like, just when I saw that, I was sitting watching. I was like, oh my god, can we just let this end? And then when she stopped and she did the promo in the middle, I actually appreciate that, because we don't get promos like that, right? Like, whenever we get a promo, they're more or less around the same thing. Like, I'm going to beat you. I am better than you. Like, something along those lines, right? Like, whatever beef that they have with whoever, it's always, I am better than you. This is what's going to happen, blah, 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 blah. Harley knew that she was outmatched. She knows that this is just an opportunity that she got, right? And she's very happy to be in the spot, but she's going to do whatever she can to try to take the TBS championship. Mm-hmm. We don't get those. And it was nice to see, because it's real, right? Because Harley Cameron, love her, hate her, whatever. I don't think anyone can hate her. If you hate her, that's a problem. But she's only won one match on AEW, right? Like, that's it. Granted, Taya Valkyrie, great. Only been wrestling for like maybe not even 2 years, right? So the humbleness in knowing that, hey, I know I'm going up against a legend, but I got to beat you, and I got to do what I can to beat you. Breath of fresh air. I really enjoyed that part. Song wise, promo enjoyed.
Yeah, I thought it was fun. I thought it was fun. I think is a different way to do the underdog,
Exactly.
and it was and it works. It totally works. Um, and it's more of the rise of Harley Cameron, man. I'm just gonna say, spoiler alert, she did damn good at Grand Slam.
We will talk about it because I even put it on Blue Sky. Like, this is just winning is not the only way that you can look good in a ring. Like,
Yep.
winning and losing, you can look great in victory and great in defeat. And once we talk about it, Harley Cameron looked great in defeat. And it just, the whole thing worked. But we'll talk about that more once we get to the match.
Yep. So final match of the night. It's not the final segment, but the final match of the night. The Guns versus the Hurt Syndicate. Let me tell you, both teams were so fucking over on this. The Guns were, and the Syndicate. The Syndicate is just over everywhere. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter. It's just, and you see more and more now. It was the right call to have them be the World Tag Team Champions.
Yeah.
By far. Like, there's no questioning it now. It was the right call, because they come to the ring and they look like a bunch of destroyers, man. Like, they're serious. And even Nigel was like, "Hey, if I had to do a tag team match and do it for the title, I'm not trying to fight them. I'm not trying to fight these guys.
God, no.
There's no way." But there was a big "we hurt people," chant, and then "guns up" chant, back and forth throughout the whole match. The crowd was into this match.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing I can, I forget who said it, but he said that the person said, well, he was a tag team wrestler, and it was like, hey, a good tag team match is just as good as a singles, a good tag team title match is just as good and can get the people on their feet just as much as a singles world title match, if it's good,
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, this match was fun. So, you had the chance back and forth. The Guns, they put up a good fight. They put up a good fight, but the Hurt Syndicate were way too strong. They were just too strong. At one point, Austin Gunn got knocked out of the ring. Shelton Benjamin picked him up, and he meant to toss him into the in the guardrail, but he tossed him so hard, like Austin flew. Flew into the crowd, man. He just tossed him. I was like, oh shit, Austin's gone. And oh man, so like after that, there was one point the Guns, they started getting some offense in. They did a bunch of flurry attack attacks. One led to the Famouser, and they were gearing up for their finish, the what is it, Tenda Yuma? And Bobby Lashley interrupted that, and it led to suplexes, and then it led to Shelton Benjamin doing that thrust kick that kills everybody. Bobby Lashley choke slam. He runs and spears Austin Gunn, and the Hurt Syndicate wins. They pin Austin Gunn. That was a great. I didn't do the match justice because there was a lot of other small things that happened, But that was a fun match. That was a really fun match. Great main event match.
Mm-hmm. I think
Oh,
can I be honest?
yeah.
I think this is what AEW wanted Private Party and Hurt Syndicate to be, right? Because the crowd was super into the entire match. Both teams were like, the crowd loved both teams. The match was also really good too. I think despite the fact that AEW did not do Private Party's tag team title run justice, like there's no doubt about that.
Right.
I think what happened during that tag match between the Syndicate and the Guns is what Private Party and Hurt Syndicate should have been. It wasn't. That's why I'm like convinced that Private Party, we're gonna see them. They're gonna be around, but I don't think they're gonna go for the tag team championships anytime soon, which is sad. But hey, the crowd wants what the crowd wants, right? Nothing we can do about that. And again, despite AEW kind of messing up that tag run for Private Party, it happened. Like, there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah. Well, I also think too is just so it's not the end for Private Party because now they got they won the tag titles, and they're still in that same position. They're always a threat. They can always win it again. Always. Because
go sorry.
Former tag team champions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, go ahead, man.
Oh no, sorry. Oh, you keep going.
Well, no, I'm good, man. I'm good now.
I think the main thing that is gonna determine what happens with Private Party is what happens when they come back. Their first match, their first segment back on TV.
Yep.
Like however the crowd perceives them at that point will be like maybe not make or break because that's not how this works. They can always come back later, but they might be like on pause for a little bit depending on what happens, or they can try to run back the Private Party heel turn. They can try to do something, but it really just depends on what happens when they come back. And at this point, I'm guessing that it would be great if it happened like soon, but I'm going to assume it's going to happen sometime after Revolution.
Possibly, yeah. Because right at the end of this, the Guns and the Hurt Syndicate, two really big monsters came out of the back. We had Brian Cage and Lance Archer standing in the entranceway.
Oh, God.
You guys want a Meat Mania match?
Meat Mania. This is the match of mountains.
There's gonna be... Good Lord. This match, when they finally get into it, because Lashley was ready. Lashley was, you gonna come out in the middle of my celebration? You know, MVP had to hold him back.
I need, for my own sanity, I need to see Brian Cage and Bobby Lashley in the same ring at the same time, just standing there. Like, 800 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be ridiculous. I cannot fucking wait for this match.
God, I don't think it's gonna be Revolution. I would love for it to be Revolution. I feel like it's a worthy tag title match for Revolution, but I wherever it happens, just maybe March 15th Collision.
Oh,
that would be cool.
I think I gotta get some tickets.
Yeah, we gotta work on that. I also gotta you already saw on Blue Sky probably. I'm also going to Revolution, so I gotta figure that out. Although granted, thankfully, thank you credit card points. I paid like $50 total to do that whole trip, so it was fantastic.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, so we gonna go to that Collision show in Vegas. We just gotta get tickets.
Yes, sir. Oh man. So right after this, we got the Mariah May promo. As usual, excellent.
Mm-hmm.
She was hyping up Grand Slam, and she pretty much called it. She said she called it a mercy killing. about what she's gonna do to Toni Storm. Whew. We're gonna see.
She is so good at what she does. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder what. Well, actually, we'll talk about it after.
Oh, we'll get there. That's going to be a discussion.
So after that, in the ring is Cope and Jay White, and the briefcase. So they had the briefcase. They had the briefcase in the ring, and they were like, "Hey, you guys want to see the world title, right?" And of course, the fans were going nuts. They're like, "Yes, we want to see it finally." And so Cope rolls out of the ring and gets Spike. And if you don't know what Spike is, she's a spike bat.
That thing is crazy every time I see it.
Big ass spike bat that seems to have gotten bigger since the last time I've seen it. And he starts calling Moxley out. Moxley doesn't show up at first. So you know what happens. Cope starts smashing the thing. And then Mox comes out and is like, "Hey, stop! Stop! You don't know what you're doing. Stop it." He's like, he pretty much says he's the protector of the world title. He's doing it to protect the title. And Copeland's like, "Yeah, I don't really care. By the way, what do you say to our match? Because if I don't get an answer, I'm just going to keep smashing it until I get the title out." Moxley, all like, freaking out. He's like, "Okay, you get the match, but hey, I'm going to break your neck." You forced my hand. You're gonna get what you want, but I'm gonna take you out for good. I'm gonna break your damn neck. And then Cope was like, "Oh, okay, cool, but you know what? I'm gonna smash this thing anyway." So he starts swinging at the suitcase again, and the Death Rider said, "Fuck this," and they rush the ring. Immediately, Jay White hit, Marina Shafir gets the case. She runs in, she slides in and gets the case and gets out. And then Claudio's in the ring. Jay White hits Claudio with the Blade Runner. And then Cope, he spears John Moxley. And after that, pretty much, Jay White's like, "Hey, see you at that, what was it? The Brisbane street fight." And that ends our show. So, overall, what did you think, man, of Dynamite?
I think this is a really good episode of Dynamite. Like we talked about at the beginning of the show, AEW's been on a roll, right? Like all these shows have been fantastic. This is no different. And then with Cope and Jay White, the unlikely duo, going up against Death Riders, they still need help. We're gonna talk more about that later. And two, AEW setting up for my nightmare scenario that we talked about last podcast. They're setting it up.
It's happening.
It's gonna happen, and that scares me. It scares me a lot, but that's most likely gonna happen. For those who don't know what my nightmare scenario is, Cope wins the AEW World Championship against Jon Moxley. Christian Cage comes in, gives the contract, beats Cope, and we are in another version of their TNT title run. And don't get me wrong, I thought it was great. I loved it then. I do not want it for the world title.
I don't think that part happens.
I hope, like I said, nightmare scenario, I hope none of it happens.
I don't. I think if Cope wins, Cope wins, and if Christian tries to cash in, the ops are gonna fuck him up. They set up the ops to just be there if he tries to cash in. That's 100% why the ops is there. If he tries to cash in, they're going to beat him down, and he's going to lose.
Look, Jay White and Copeland need the help. So anyone, the ops will help anything. It's something, they need help.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts. That's all I got.
Nice.
I mean, that was a Dynamite breakdown, right? We got real into Dynamite, so.
Yeah, well, that's what happens when we take our own notes.
Mm-hmm.
Superior notes.
This is the superior notes. This is just what we're gonna do from now on.
Yeah. Didn't miss a segment. Nothing.
No. But now, you know what we gotta talk about.
Yeah, man, we got to talk about that collision. Hit it up, Lionel.
We had Grand Slam Collision. We talked about it a little bit earlier. We talked about the drama and stuff like that. We're gonna talk about what happened in the show. And let me tell you, if there was a way to start off hot after that garbage NBA Sunday All-Star event, it was with seeing Takeshita and Fletcher versus Ospreay and Omega as your opening match of Grand Slam Australia.
Hell yeah.
Boy, let me tell you, that was a match. It's going to be real hard to talk about because they were wrestling. So I'm going to tell you guys about my favorite segments, things that happened, and then we'll talk about the end result, and we'll move on from there. First thing I'm going to talk about is the crowd was insane. They were going crazy for Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. Like, absolutely insane, though, entire match. And they booed the shit out of Fletcher and Takeshita the entire match.
Yep.
But through heavy strikes, through everything, crazy. Like I said, I'm going to just talk about my favorite segment, my favorite parts of the match. My first favorite part was Ospreay and Omega doing that double Terminator drive. That Terminator dive.
Yeah.
It looks so good. Kenny, even though Kenny clipped the bottom of the ring, still looked great. Ospreay and Fletcher, or Ospreay and Omega looked like an incredible team. Ospreay and Fletcher, or Jesus Christ, I'm just gonna keep on doing that because they tag team. Ospreay and Omega had the advantage at the very beginning for a few minutes until Fletcher was able to use Ospreay as a battering ram to hit Kenny in the stomach. And y'all might as well just get used to that at this point. Whenever Kenny gets hit in the stomach, that is going to be his Danielson neck injury. That's just how it's gonna be. Accept it now or just be mad about it every time that you're gonna see it. The match went on. We had multiple tags through and through. At one point in the match, we got this crazy Ospreay and Fletcher standoff where Ospreay was trying to hit him with the Liger Bomb that he normally does. Fletcher reversed it. Fletcher tried to hit him with the Liger Bomb. Ospreay reversed it. Fletcher tries again, but he gets reversed into a nasty DDT. Like Fletcher got spiked into the mat. It was insane. Yeah. There was another point where Takeshita was about to do a belly to back suplex on Omega. Omega, being an idiot, decided to grab Ospreay on the other side of the ring. That didn't help because Fletcher got up. He hit Ospreay's hands off of the ring ropes. And Takeshita was like, all right, and I'm just going to suplex both of them. And that's what he did. Belly to back suplex on both of them. Looked insane. There was another point where Takeshita and Fletcher reversed the Stormbreaker and the One Ring Angel attempt from Ospreay and Omega. And they reversed those into a jumping tombstone for Ospreay and a bastard driver for Kenny. Crowd was going crazy. Like I said, a lot was happening in this match. We're just going to get to the final moments of the match. Like I said, there's a lot more that happened. But the final part of the match, we have Takeshita and Omega in the ring. They're jockeying for a position. They go over to the corner. Kenny gets him up for the One Wing Angel, and he turns around, and we're like, what's going on? Ospreay gets up on the top rope, hits a hidden blade into the One Wing Angel, which might be the nastiest tag team combo finisher of all time. No one can kick out the One Wing Angels to begin with. So add a hidden blade to that. You could have counted to 100. Takeshita was out. That was it. Our winners of our first match are Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega. What are your thoughts, Proffitt?
That match was incredible. Like, I don't know. I said it on Blue Sky. That match was the best way to start off Grand Slam. And I worried in the beginning. I was like, oh shit, how are we going to carry this from here? I think that's a lot of energy being carried, but you know what? I'm glad I was wrong.
Yeah, we didn't have to worry about it. They were fine.
Yep.
And like I said, I didn't talk about, there was a lot of nasty Takeshita strikes in here. There was a point where like Fletcher hit that running, like, I don't even know what you call it, that running boot that he does to Omega, and it looked like he knocked Omega's jaw off. Like, there's a lot happened in this match. I didn't break down the whole match. If you haven't seen it, please do.
Yeah, watch it.
And this is Grand Slam Australia. Usually, we get like a little talking segment here and there. Not on this show. Mm-mm. Grand Slam Australia, this is all matches. The only people who talked on this show were Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay.
In the back.
In the back. We move on to our TBS Championship match with our champion Mercedes Moné versus Harley Cameron. And I'm going to mention this right now. Momo Watanabe was watching from ringside.
Yes.
Momo's there. Right behind the barricade. Story of this match, Mercedes was looking down on Harley for a good portion of this match. At the very beginning, Mercedes was just out wrestling her. She laid up on the ring ropes, just laid there. Then at one point after she messed up Harley again, she goes to the ring ropes, opens them, is like, okay, get out of my ring. Harley did not accept that. Harley was able to gain control, and Harley yells, "This is my ring now," and drowns Mercedes. That's what drowned her. That's all I'm gonna say. There's nothing else. Harley looked fantastic in this match. There was a point where very early on, this is still very early, she gets Mini Monet. The crowd cheers. She grabs her and she starts hitting Mercedes in the head to that corner 10 count that they always do. Mercedes was able to reverse out, get her down, snatches Mini Monet, and in what was magic, I don't even know how it like hooked onto her leg like this, but she stomps on Mini Monet and then kicks her out of the ring, and instead of kicking her in the front towards the ramp, Mini Monet went over Mercedes' head after Mercedes kicked her to the other side of the ring. I don't even know how like Mini Monet clamped on to Mercedes like that. I think that doll might actually be alive. I don't know. It was wild. I don't know, but it was crazy. There was a point during the commercial break, because I watch on Triller, where Mercedes had Harley in a couple rest holds, knocking her down. Then she put her down and started kneeing her side. It looked nasty. Like, it was just rough. After the break, though, Harley was able to get back in the match. Mercedes had held control for a good majority of this match at this point. Harley was able to get control, but it did not last long. Harley hit this nice-looking pump handle back suplex on Mercedes. Yeah. Looked fantastic. Mm-hmm. But again, didn't matter. At one point, Mercedes hits a baseball slide, knocking Harley down, and she's gloating again. She's taunting. The crowd is booing her, as they should. Harley gets up. She looks in the ring, and Mini Monet's there too. And they're just looking, and Mercedes looks weirded out. Harley looks determined. And at this point, this becomes a back and forth match. Harley was in there giving it to Mercedes, knocking her around, doing whatever she was gonna do. But we got to talk about the ending. Sadly, Harley had control at this point. Harley hit Mercedes with the area code kick, but it was like an area code knee, because that knee hit Mercedes dead in the jaw. Then she gets up and tries to do a swanton, it looked like. Only to miss. Mercedes hits the Monet Maker for the 1-2-3. And still, TBS champion, Mercedes Moné. After that, though, Mercedes is gloating. She's celebrating. Momo stands up and is looking at her. Looking at Mercedes. And Mercedes decides, like a crazy person, to take the TBS title and shove it in Momo's face. I was like, oh shit, Momo's about to kill her. But Momo didn't do anything. She just smiled. But it looks like we got our next match. We're going to get a rerun from, I think it was Capital Collision. Capital Collision, whenever they had that match.
Yeah, I think it was Capital Collision.
Yeah. Proffitt, what are your thoughts?
Excellent. I gotta give a round of applause, man, because like both ladies came out there, they went at it, they performed. It was a fantastic match, man, and it's even better knowing, seeing Harley Cameron's rise, man. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And not just that. It's not just Harley Cameron's rise. It's also Mercedes Moné deflecting the haters, right? Saying she can't elevate anybody in a match or anything like that. Well, what the fuck was this? Right?
Mm-hmm.
They both elevated each other in this match. And Mercedes for sure elevated Harley Cameron. For sure during this match.
Oh yeah.
It was I have nothing but praise for this match. It was a really fun match, really good. The crowd was into Harley Cameron. She's got everybody saying "Feel the Wrath" now. Harley Cameron's over naturally. So I just think the whole thing is great.
I'm still very curious what's gonna happen when Saraya comes back, because all this happened while Saraya was off. Like I said, hopefully everything's going all right with Saraya. Apparently it was like family stuff. Hopefully everything's okay. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens when she comes back.
I hope it Saraya is over here in her own little Saraya land, and Harley Cameron is doing the things that she needs to do and continuing to move forward. She has proved without a doubt, she does not need Saraya.
Yeah, for sure now.
For sure now. Like if it wasn't sure before, it is for sure now. She does not need Saraya. So we break it off or have them be friends somewhere or something else, but Harley Cameron does not need somebody standing in front of her and getting in her way. Let Harley do her thing.
Mm-hmm. It's past time. So hopefully, if they do something together, hopefully it's like a feud and nothing else.
Yeah,
that would be a great like first or second feud for Harley to like really win. But right now, I mean, Harley was still doing stuff with Deonna, so we're gonna see where Harley goes. We know where Mercedes is going. Mercedes next is Momo, like for sure. Like there's no she wasn't there for no reason.
Yeah, no. You don't put Momo there and just like as a one-off. No.
They had to fly her out there. Like that was a calculated call. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully that happens at Revolution. That'd be great. That'd be a great TBS title match.
Mm-hmm. So I'm just gonna say something.
The
TBS title is being defended how I would love to see the TNT title be defended.
It's the TNT title is so weird right now, right? Because Garcia's on TV every week now, like for sure, and it feels like they have like 5 different contenders for the TNT championship, but he doesn't defend consistently.
Right.
Like he'll get 1 or 2 good defenses back to back and then stop for another 2 weeks.
Right.
And it's weird.
I hate it. I fucking hate it.
I mean, we'll see what happens. I think he's gonna be losing that title sooner rather than later. I believe, but we'll see how that goes.
Yep, we shall see.
Next up, we had our only promo segment of the night, actual promo segment of the night. Backstage, we hear from Will Ospreay and Kenny Omega, and they are hype after winning the opening match for Grand Slam Australia. Kenny's talking a lot of mad shit about Takeshita. He said that he was tired of hearing Don Callis and Takeshita say that they beat him twice in the span of 6 days. He was sick of everything, and then he challenged Takeshita for the International Championship. Revolution.
My God.
But that's not all. That's not all that happened in the segment. Then they switch off. Ospreay's talking. Ospreay is also like sick of hearing Fletcher. He was like, "Oh, I'm here in your town. They're cheering me. They're cheering all babyface Billy." And they're all cheering again. They're all super excited to see Will. So Will proposes Revolution, another thing that he wants Kyle Fletcher in a steel cage match. And then I promptly went to go buy my tickets and then to Revolution.
At that moment.
Oh no! I put on Blue Sky. I was like, "Yeah, let me go get my tickets." And then 10 minutes later, I was like, "Y'all thought I was joking?" And I put it up there. It's a nosebleed ticket because there were like no tickets left that weren't like $500.
Yeah.
But I'm be in the building. I'll be high up in the building. I'm be in the building. Do you have any thoughts on this promo segment, or what's to come between these four?
I think it's fantastic that they announced that. I need them to, so I'm glad they announced it, to reassure people they got stuff cooking. You just gotta wait. And now in this, 2 really high profile matches that are going to happen during Revolution. I don't know, like, what else you could say. Like, Ospreay and Fletcher in a steel cage is going to be insane. But on the same night, we're also going to get the international title match between Omega and the Alpha Takeshita. I don't know. This card can be an all-timer. Easy. I'm just saying.
I know we're on a podcast. It's hard to talk about the excitement about these 2 matches. Like, these 2 matches alone, like, Revolution was already like crazy sold, right? Like, I looked at the tickets. A lot of them were gone. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if they just only sold half the building. I don't know. But I can tell you one thing. When I went on that website to go look at tickets, they were damn near gone.
I think everybody did the exact same thing you did. They're like, what?
Yeah, let me go get my ticket now. Yep.
Let me go get this shit real quick.
Lord have mercy. But yeah, like, those 2 matches alone. And we still got a couple more weeks of Revolution. Now that Grand Slam Australia is behind us, we can really build up to Revolution now. We got a lot more matches we need to fill in on this card. So we're going to see how that goes.
Yep.
Speaking of, we're going to talk about 2 participants that are going to be in the main event of Revolution.
Oh.
Because we are going to the Brisbane Brawl.
Oh, boy.
We have Adam Cope, and Jay White versus Jon Moxley and Claudio. I really should say, at this point, just should say the Death Riders, because that's what it was. It was 2-on-4. But I will hold off on that because we have to talk about a very touching moment that happened during the entrance of one Adam Copeland.
Oh, man.
Cope was already hype, right? He was doing the thing that he used to do where he's running on both sides of the ramp. He's looking at everyone. He's really excited. He gets into the ring. He slides into the ring. He does his stuff. The music cuts off. And as the music is cutting off, the crowd is getting louder. And what you hear is the crowd singing Copeland's theme song. And let me tell you, a lot of wrestlers have been talking about, especially lately, like if you hear interviews, a lot of wrestlers from every promotion are saying that they want to try to experience and feel moments more, right? Be present in the moment. when the crowd was singing Copeland's song to him, for a second it looked like he was about to cry.
Yeah, he almost lost it.
He stood right in the middle of the ring, soaked it in. The crowd, also, by the way, side note, the crowd sounded fantastic. By the way, they were hitting notes and everything. They were all on the same time. Like, there was no, like, here and there. There was no, like, random echo. They were together. They were singing that damn song. Copeland standing in the middle of the ring. He puts his head down. You can see the smile on his face. You can see that he's about to break down, but then he shakes it off. And then once the crowd is done, the chance to feel alive. Copeland gets hype again, immediately. Like, he just all for it. That makes the ending of this match a little bit sad now. Now I'm thinking about it. But, before we talk about the match, bro, you have any thoughts on this moment with Copeland?
Oh man, it was an excellent moment, man. Like, when he was sitting in the ring, he was like, "Oh my god!"
He was legit shocked.
Yeah, and it was pretty much almost pretty much sold out arena in Australia. I'm not sure if it was the first time wrestling there or not. Pretty sure it wasn't. I don't know.
I'm guessing he has.
But either way, I don't think he got anywhere near the reception or anything like that. So it was much more personal feel, and it was just a great moment to watch. Fantastic.
I loved it. Then everyone else came out. There were no touching moments for them as they were coming out, especially Jon Moxley and Claudio, because they were getting booed out the building. I don't even know how I'm going to talk about this match because a lot of stuff happened in this match. So I will do what I did for the tag match. I will talk about moments again. Immediately they all spill out of the ring, right? They pair off. At the beginning, Jay White is wrestling, or not even wrestling, fighting Moxley on the outside. And Cope and Claudio were fighting in the crowd. And this is where I thought that them singing to Copeland was a mistake, because this dumbass old man decided to stand up outside and jump on Claudio from like half a story up. Landed feet first again. Everything. And when I saw that shit, my head went into my hands. I was like, this motherfucker's doing it again. And then he looked like he was struggling to get up for a second. I was like, oh my God, here we go. Why did you do this again? And granted, it's like half the distance, right? It's not as high as the steel cage. But still, this man did not learn his lesson. This crowd got into his head. No one sing to him at Revolution, please. Nothing happened to him. He was all right. It wasn't too bad. There was another point where Copeland got powerbombed through a table that was set up earlier by Marina Shafir and Jon Moxley by Claudio. It looked nasty too. Like, Claudio looked like he threw him with all his strength down. Just nasty. There was another point where Jay White had a kendo stick and he was beating Moxley and Claudio with it, and then he went crazy on Claudio. Like, he broke the kendo stick on Claudio's body. Like, there was like half a kendo stick left by the time he was done. It didn't matter because Moxley stopped him when hitting him the last time, and then got thrown headfirst into a chair that was set up on the turnbuckle. Did not look great, but he was able to reverse it because a couple seconds later he was able to get back up and throw Claudio into another chair that was set up in another turnbuckle. Then he hits the Blade Runner. We think the match is over. 1, 2. Wheeler Yuta comes out of literally nowhere. Breaks up the pin. So at this point, we have everyone but Pac out there against 2 people. 4-on-2. Death Rider special. This is how this goes. Cope gets up. He's able to hit a couple spears. Even spears Claudio through a table. Looked nasty. Then he gets 2 chairs. One is a normal chair, and the second chair is a barbed wire wrapped chair. And he hits Moxley in the back with it. And Mox's back immediately started bleeding. Immediately. Then he sets up for the concerto. So he puts one chair under Mox's head and has the barbed wire wrapped chair in his hands. He's about to blast Moxley with it to do a concerto. But again, Wheeler Yuta comes in and decides that he is going to get in the way of this. He takes the chair from Copeland. Then Copeland basically gets jumped. It's damn near 4-on-1. Marina did get involved because she hit him with the case to knock him down. Death Riders jumped on him. Moxley gets the bulldog choke and chokes the life out of Copeland, basically. Copeland does not tap out, but he passes out. He's knockout. And the 2 members of the main event for Revolution were in the deciding factor of this match, and Copeland lost to Moxley. After this, they start beating up Moxley. They start beating up Copeland a little bit more, saying that he's not ready for this, talking real bad about Cope. And that ends the match. Proffitt, what were your thoughts on the Brisbane Brawl?
The Brisbane Brawl was good. One of the funny enough, I don't have the same opinions as most people because everybody didn't want to see the win, the Death Riders. But I thought it made sense here. If Cope is going to come out as the victor, or if that's what they're gearing up towards, there needs to be some type of adversity, some type of contention for them to climb. They have to be at odds. They can't be the ones on top in this situation, because then there's nothing really for them to fight except for they fight Moxley and that's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this will just continue to build up the Cope versus Moxley match that we're going to get at Revolution. And Cope is going to have to find a way to negate all these odds against them, or against him. Who else is he going to bring in? FTR seems like they're focused on something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jay White seems like the guns are nowhere to be found now that they're back. And so who else is going to step up? We haven't seen Orange Cassidy in a while. We haven't seen, a bunch of the people that were like, rah, rah, let's get the Death Riders. They all disappeared. So who's the next set of people to step up? That's what the curious part's going to be.
Yeah, I agree with you, to be honest. I think a lot of people didn't watch wrestling before, right? This happens sometimes, right? The challenger and the champion sometimes are in deciding falls when they're in a tag match, and sometimes the champion or challenger loses. That happens sometimes. It's wrestling. Anyone can win or lose. That's just how the sport is supposed to work, right? So I agree with you. I don't think this takes away from anything. I don't think this is going to be super crazy, but I do think at this point, Copeland and Jay White need to figure out how to get the numbers more on their side. They need to make this at least even. And so far, no one has really tried to do it with their. Every time that it gets even-ish, people get pulled away from them. So they got to figure out how to get people more involved in this and get equalizers to everyone in the Death Riders. And then we'll see how that goes in Revolution. Yep.
And I think the main thing is there needs to be a trio. They need to align with a trio in order to actually get the numbers in their favor, because then that trio staves off the Death Rider trio, and now it's Moxley versus Cope or whoever.
Mm-hmm. That match is probably going to be a clusterfuck for sure, right? They're going to not going to have a choice. Death Riders are going to get involved. That's how this is going to be. This is how all their matches have been. Death Riders going to find a way to get involved. So Cope needs to find a way to equalize them. And that's going to be where this is. You make this a one-on-one, as close as you can, because Moxley has not really been in like a one-on-one like that at all since being the world champion.
Mm-hmm.
Get him a one-on-one, see what happens, see what you can do. And that's where this is going to go. Next up, technically our semi-main event of Grand Slam Collision.
Mm-hmm.
For the AEW Continental Championship, we have champion Kazuchika Okada, who came out with that really dope, like, laser entrance around him.
Yeah.
Versus Buddy Matthews. And again, I think I've said it every single match, but the crowd was on Buddy's side. Like, the crowd loved Buddy. That's just how it was.
Mm-hmm.
I can say this. Buddy Matthews had control of this match, like, for 80% of it. Buddy was in front of Okada, especially early on, when Buddy tried to put his hand out to Okada, and Okada put up the middle finger, refused, as he does. Buddy had control of chain wrestling. He was able to beat Okada in chain wrestling pretty easily. He was able to outpower Okada pretty easily during this chain wrestling section also. It got to the point where Buddy threw Okada out, and he was about to do a dive, and Okada was about to slide into the ring. But when he did, Buddy turned around and met him as he slid into the ring. Okada got frustrated for a good reason. Decided to take his title and leave. But before he can, Buddy takes a mic and is like, hey, I know I've been calling you a bitch, but since we're here, you're acting like a wanker. And then the crowd goes crazy. Wanker, 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 all that stuff. That makes Okada mad. But even then, Okada still wasn't really in the match at this point. It got to a point where Okada was able to get Buddy onto the top rope, sit there and do his patented like top rope drop kick, knocked Buddy down, and it looked like Buddy like twisted his ankle, hurt his knee. Something happened, right? And at this point, this is when the match became a little bit more back and forth. Okada was able to get some more offense in. It didn't really matter for a lot of it though, because eventually Buddy comes back and Buddy just starts hitting like I don't think I noticed this until just now, but a lot of Buddy's moves are from like other people. And I know that sounds stupid coming from like wrestling because everyone's moves from other people. But Buddy had a combination where he hit a go to sleep, shout out Kenta, and a curb stomp, shout out Seth Rollins. But he missed the curb stomp, and Okada got him with the Rainmaker, but he was able to kick out at 2. At this point, commentary said this was the first person in AEW to kick out from the Rainmaker. I'm not sure that's true. I think someone else in AEW's kicked out Rainmaker. If not, is what it is. But we know a lot of people kicked out Rainmaker. It doesn't matter. There's another point where Buddy does another shout out to Seth Rollins, where he does a superplex into a jackhammer. Seth does the Falcon's arrow, but still, shout out Seth. That's Seth's combo. Didn't work. Okada was still able to get out of this. At another point, Okada got into a Texas Cloverleaf, a standing Texas Cloverleaf. Shout out to Rhea Ripley. And Okada was hurting. He was in the center of the ring. It looked like he was about to tap out, but he was able to reverse it. He rolled through and sent Buddy into the referee. Buddy stopped before he hit the referee, so didn't hit him. Okada ran towards Buddy. Buddy dodges. Okada's in front of the referee. He's grabbing the referee. Buddy's trying to grab him. Waist control. It doesn't matter because Okada decides to low blow Buddy Matthews. Hits the Rainmaker and gets the 1-2-3. Still, your Continental Champion, Kazuchika Okada. After having to cheat and being on the back foot this entire match. At 50% strength.
50% Okada.
Proffitt, what are your thoughts on this match?
It was fun. It was a really fun match. I'm glad Buddy Matthews is getting, finally out of the shadow of Malachi. Is finally in there, like, consistently wrestling every week now. And being able to show his talent, because the guy's a ridiculous talent. Like, there's no reason he should have been not, showcased as, the way he wasn't. But I'm glad he got to showcase all of his stuff in Australia and just have a great match with Okada. So it was a fun match. Really fun.
Yeah, wholeheartedly agree. But now, we got to talk about the main event. For the AEW Women's World Championship, champion Mariah May versus Australia's last hope, Toni Storm. If I haven't noticed, Australians were getting their asses kicked during the show. The Australians were the ones who got Grand Slams. It was not great for them. They all came in here. They all lost. We also get a Luther sighting. Luther introduces Toni Storm from the crowd. Very exciting. We get into the match, and it starts hot, like a blood feud should. They collar an elbow tie up for a second, they break it off, and then immediately start going to a hockey fight. They said, fuck this, we're fighting. So they start fighting. It was at this point where Toni Storm gains the advantage, and everyone said it, so I'm going to say it also. Toni took Mariah to Suplex City. 5 belly-to-back suplexes. Half of them looked nasty, too. Toni was just throwing Mariah around. Eventually, Mariah was able to get out of the ring, gets Toni Storm onto the apron, and then pulls Toni Storm's feet from under her, and was able to take control of this match for a few minutes. Didn't matter, though, because once Toni was able to get back into control again, she held on to an STF. And that STF, like, she looked like she was pulling. Like, it looked like it really hurt. Mariah got out of it by biting Toni Storm's arm, to which Toni Storm decided to grab the back of Mariah's head and slam her face into the mat a few times to get another STF back on her. Mariah eventually did get out of that also. But at this point, they're scrapping. Mariah is in desperation mode. So Mariah hits like 5 Maydays throughout the rest of this match at this point, which is her finishing move. The first one she hit was on the outside. Did not look great. Like, Toni drove into the ground hard. But it didn't work, though, because once she gets in, nothing happens. Then Toni takes Mariah, hits her with a Mayday of her own, and then a Storm Zero, but kicked out. But Mariah looked like she was passed out. She looked like she was out. But she was playing possum because she got up after Toni Storm pulled her up and hit a reverse suplex into a gut wrench into 2 Maydays. All back to back to back. Toni Storm still kicked out. The crowd at this point is going insane because they can feel it. They can feel it's about to happen. Toni Storm comes back at her, hits another Storm Zero on Mariah. But before she can pin, Mariah rolls outside of the ring. Toni's getting upset. Toni pulls her back into the ring. Mariah tries to get her up for another Mayday. Toni reverses that Mayday into a small package for the 1, 2, 3, and new and first ever 4-time AEW Women's World Champion, Timeless Toni Storm. That is the match, and that is Grand Slam Collision. Proffitt, what are your thoughts?
So, I did it for the Monet Harley Cameron match, but damn good match. Excellent. Like, it was an excellent way to cap off Grand Slam. The ladies they went out there and they worked. And it was a fantastic thing to see. It was super fun, man. Definitely, yeah. Toni Storm is, how do I put it? Literally one of the best women's wrestlers in the past 10 years. By far. Easy. Mariah May is right up there with her.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we gotta give Mariah May her flowers because she kicked ass. Like, when she is as champion, she brought it. She didn't run away from title shots or things like that. Or no, not title shots, but she didn't run away from defenses. She defended it against anyone and everyone. Anyone that stepped up, Mariah May was there, and she put on a match every time. And they were all damn good. I don't think there was a bad match when she was champion.
I don't think there was either.
So her title reign was effective. Like, that's the best way I could say it. It wasn't short, not by any means. But man, like all the matches she had, they were fantastic. They were good. The stories that she was able to bring out. I am very curious where she's going next.
I think it's interesting because we talked about it, right? You also like hit the nail on the head. Like Mariah's title run was fantastic. It's going to be up there as one of the best AEW Women's World Championship runs for sure. She was wrestling everybody, big, small, like didn't matter. It was a lot of fun to watch. I think these two should keep it up in the big crowds, in the big arenas. If they are going to do a run back anytime soon, which I believe that they should, all in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, they are 1-1.
They are 1-1.
So we're going to get a rubber match at some point. All in Texas feels like a great place for it.
Now, what if?
Mm-hmm.
Just saying, what if Mariah either starts going after Mercedes or there's no all right, here's the thing that I think there's no way it's not going to happen. Athena's coming in somewhere.
I can see it happening, yeah.
I don't know. Is she she fighting Mariah May, defending her title against Mariah May? Or is it a champion versus champion match? Athena versus Toni Storm at All in Texas. I don't know.
I think that once Athena comes in, it's gonna be Mercedes. It's gonna be Athena Mercedes, All in Texas. Mm-hmm. That's my guess.
Yeah. And the way it makes sense too, because the way Mercedes is going, jeez, like who better? It's going to be one of the longest reigning TDS champions versus the longest reigning Ring of Honor champion ever.
Oh yeah,
that sells itself.
Oh yeah,
that sells itself.
But no matter what, going back to Mariah has cemented herself as a main eventer at this point. She's up there. She's in the upper echelon of wrestlers in AEW. She's also up there as having one of the top 3 stories in AEW also, by the way. That's just how it is. I don't care if you like it, don't like it. She has a top 3 story in AEW.
Oh, there's no arguing that. If someone's going to argue that, I'm just not listening to them.
Exactly.
Like, there's across, I'm just going to say across all company. The Toni Storm Mariah May feud storyline is easily, top 1 or 2 at this moment right now.
I say this with as much love and respect as I can. I compare the Toni Storm and Mariah May story to Gail Kim and Awesome Kong.
Yes.
Gail Kim Awesome Kong is one of my, well, probably not even one of, it's probably my favorite story from the women's division, and up there in top 5 of my favorite wrestling stories of all time.
Man, you hit it with that old goodie right there.
Bro, look, when I watched TNA, I was never a WWE kid, right? Like, we had to once we did. But once WCW went away, I watched WWE for a little bit. I found out about TNA. Funny enough, I found out from TNA when Samoa Joe and Kurt Angle was a thing, right?
Oh my God, yeah. So,
And it just so happened that Gail Kim and Awesome Kong were in the middle of their storyline for that point too, having the best women's division on the planet.
oh yeah,
That will forever be one of my favorite stories because that shaped like me as a wrestling fan. Mariah May and Toni Storm's up there for me. That's how great they have been over the last like 18 months. It's going to be a forever feud, just like Swerve and Hangman is. Has to be.
yeah.
So, like, I'm all in for it. I can't wait to see what Mariah does next. I know they're going to separate Mariah and Toni Storm for a little bit. I feel like they kind of have to. They don't really have to. I wouldn't mind if they kept on going. But we'll see Toni Storm do a couple other things here and there for a little bit. And then we'll see where they lead off. And like you said, we also have an incoming Athena.
Yeah.
You think the women's
Don't
division is
forget
crazy
about
now?
Athena.
Exactly. Yeah, thank you. Like, we have the women's division right now is already cooking. Once Athena comes in, and Athena comes in with this aura and everything that she has from being in Ring of Honor for 2 years. Longer than 2 years now at this point, actually. But being a world champion for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's about to be on another level again.
Yeah. I'll say it right now. AEW's women's division is the best of like one of the best. No, I'm going to say is the best American women's division right now.
Oh, bro. I could probably one up you. It's up there right now with the golden knockouts era of TNA.
Yeah, no, that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of that era of TNA. And if you guys have not seen that, that era of the knockouts, when they because like just to set it up for you guys, that era of the knockouts was when they were like, fuck all the bra and panties matches and shit like that. All these ladies, they know how to wrestle. We're gonna let them do their thing and wrestle. Similar to how, they were doing in Japan and stuff like that. We're going to let them wrestle. And they had the perfect storm of people at that time. If you're interested in women's wrestling in general, that's a good base to start off on. Also look up Manami Toyota, but that is a good base to start off on.
It's just incredible. Like, I don't think we've been praising Mariah May and Toni Storm. I feel like we're not even doing that justice. That's how good the storyline has been.
Yeah. The storyline has been excellent.
So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with them next. This also ends a very successful episode of AEW Collision, Grand Slam Collision.
Yeah.
We talked about the drama. We're not gonna talk about the drama again. We will just talk about again how incredible this card was. This was a super card, ones that we don't get often. So it was nice to be able to see.
Yeah, it was. So I even put on Blue Sky. I'm like, after the Kenny and not even, it was like in the middle of the Kenny Ospreay and Fletcher and Takeshita match. I'm like, I'm not even considering this a TV show now. It's a pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, I saw a bunch of people start saying that after you. Funny enough too. Funny, by the way. No, I'm not saying, but I'm saying after you said it, I saw a bunch of other people saying it.
He's saying like I started something there, but come on, give your boy some credit sometime, guys.
Make sure you follow us on Blue Sky. Like y'all saw they were at the beginning of the podcast. I'll probably put them right here too. Make sure you're following all of our socials. Do that.
Do it. It's fun.
But that's it, man. You have any final thoughts?
Yeah. The final thought is Dynamite Grand Slam Collision. Fantastic. If you haven't watched it yet, you're just getting the recap from us. Finish getting the recap from us because you got this far, and then go back and watch those shows because you'll further appreciate both shows.
All right, man. You know what time it is.
Oh, is it that time?
Oh, bro, take us home.
All right, guys. So, you know what I'm about to say. I need you guys, because I know you've been holding on to that elbow pad for a while. So I see you. I need you guys to get up on that top rope, take that elbow pad off, and drive it into that subscribe button. You thought I was going to say the like one. Drive it into that subscribe button. And then tap on that bell button. Because you'll get all of our videos whenever they come out. And, you don't just get one podcast, you get 3. You get the OVA, which we talk about anime, which we're gonna have a new episode up sooner. Pretty soon. The Command Grab, which we talk about games, and also what you're listening to now, Off the Top Rope, where we talk about pro wrestling. And also tap that like button. Comment on some of the things that we talked about today. We ain't gonna hurt you. So yeah, thank you once again. And you know what time it is. We out.
Peace.